Hey guys, just finished watching Titans, Season 1, Episode 1. Wow, what a first episode. Now, off the bat, before getting to the list of things here, and I got a ton of things to talk about here for this movie, for this first episode. I think we're only going to get 14 episodes. That's what it says here on IMDb. Unfortunately, it's not available in Canada, so I'm only able to watch it other ways and stuff. So it's really going to be cool to see where things go with this. I think I like the fact that it was filmed in Canada, and yet, we can't in Canada. They're not giving it access to us, so we have to go the other means of watching it. But I think it's really cool. It's a great show, and I really like the where things are going. I like the aspects of the show, and the look of the show looked really cool, looked really interesting, and it was definitely can't wait to see as to where things kind of going for this show. I think the production values look really good. Some of the special effects looked really cool. There's a scene where Starfire uses her power, and that was really, really, really cool. The way they did that. But then they had Beast Boy, I guess, spoilers a little bit. I mean, he's at the end of this episode. They tease him a little bit, and his powers, were a little bit, they look cool, but it's just it looked a little bit CGI for that first episode, for the first bit. And maybe they'll get better on as we go into the show, but just the Beast Boy, he looks really CGI. So I'd like to see him a little bit better. Maybe the special effects be a little bit better on Beast Boy and make him look a little bit more realistic, because it looks a little fake. It looks kind of obviously fake there, so that'll be cool to see a bit more of that as we get to see things go on throughout the show. But everything else other than that looked pretty good in this show. So let's jump into this, and I recommend watching this. I think so far, just on my first opinions on it before getting into spoilers and stuff into this the episode, I definitely would recommend watching this. It definitely is a really cool show. It seems a bit of a Netflix feel to it. It definitely has the dark feel to it, as it had in that trailer it released not long ago, where they just said, and Mr. Poole, like where Deadpool said in the Deadpool 2, what are you so dark from the DC universe? And to that, they said, what did they respond? They responded back, we say, suck it, Mr. Poole. And that was pretty cool. It was really cool marketing for this show. It was really cool with that. And I think it's really going to be cool to see where things go with this. I think the idea of teasing and going really close to, skirting just on the edge of Batman, I think that's really cool, dealing with that, even more closer than they have in the Arrowverse and in Supergirl with Superman, until they actually showed him and stuff. But I think it's really cool dealing with all that. I think it's really going to be a fun show to see where things go. And I like the different, the production value seems really cool. Like I said, some of the CGI is a little bit wonky at some points, especially with Beast Boy. But other than that, I think it's something that I would really get into this show, and I think it really is a really good show. Now, off the first episode, I don't think it's my favorite show as before Daredevil. Daredevil is one of my favorite shows out there. Daredevil and Legion, just because it messes with the mind so much. But they're kind of, you can't really put them on the same thing, because Legion is its own weird thing that really can't be compared to anything. It's its own category. But I think this one definitely has, it's on that level of kind of Daredevil a little bit. It just seems like the production values are not exactly on the same level, but yet Daredevil doesn't really have any CGI to do. There's no CGI really to do anything. The only CGI they have on those shows where, with Iron Fist, that's it. Everything else is all practical effects that they do on set. With Luke Cage lifting a car, well, it's just a fake prop, right, that he's lifting. It's a fake piece of concrete that he's lifting, or fake telephone pole, right? So those are simple effects to really do on there. So whereas this, I think, is really cool. I like the idea of it. It definitely has that noir, dark story to it, really dark story to it, that the DC universe has been, so far has been known for. And I think it's really going to be cool to see where things go with that. So all in all, I definitely recommend, if you're a DC fan, to watch this. I'm only in episode 1, so I'm not die hard into it as much as I was after I feel like I was back when I first watched Daredevil season 1 and the starting of all this Netflix stuff. But I'm definitely interested in this show. Definitely has me hooked into it. I'm really excited to see where things go. I mean, for some of the other shows that I'm watching, like the first episode of, I haven't watched yet, but I'm about to watch it sometime today. But the first episode of the new season of The Flash, I'm kind of interested in seeing that, but this one is a bit more interested, obviously, because it's it's the first episode of this series completely. But I'm really more excited in this show than I would be watching, at least so far, watching Black Lightning or anything like that. I think I'm really way more interested in watching that, and I think so far I'm going to be interested in liking this a lot more than obviously other shows like Legend of Tomorrow, but we'll see if I like it more than Arrow and all those shows. So far, I'm really kind of on the same. I like it as much as I like Arrow and The Flash and stuff, but it definitely feels like just a bit of a more higher budget, because Raven's special effects looks really cool, but like I said, some of the Beast Boy stuff looks a little wonky, but we'll have to wait and see how we see that, because so far we only see it in the dark and stuff, and Raven's special effects doesn't seem too complicated to do, because it's supposed to be blurry, it's supposed to be dark and all that stuff. You're not supposed to get a good look at it, whereas Beast Boy, we're gonna have to see him changing through multiple different characters, multiple different animals, and that's really one thing I want to see. Is one thing on Legend of Tomorrow is that they kept having Vixen use only a handful of, she's been on how many seasons now? She hasn't even gone through like 10 different animals yet. She's only gone through like 5 different animals, and only really using 2 or 3 at the same time over and over and over again. And she doesn't stay that animal. She just has the animal. You get the shape of the animal, and then it disappears, and then she starts fighting, right? So whereas Beast Boy, he needs to stay in the animal because he physically changes into the animal. So hopefully we can get him by the end of this season. If they're going 14 episodes, I'd like to see a handful, like at least 5 different animals that he turns into throughout this full this first season, and then 5 new ones in the next season. 5, all the time, constantly have him. It would be awesome, even if they could make it work. Even like 10 different animals have him change into throughout this season. I think that would be the way to really do it and show off some of the CGI. But on the other hand, I wouldn't mind if they just did like a couple of animals, but they look perfect. They look really, really, really good. And I think that would be an interesting idea. If they did that, had only a couple of animals, and then once the whole show is out, you put out a video literally just explaining the behind the scenes of creating the Beast Boy stuff, and how long it takes to build each character and every animal he does. It could be really cool to see, every time they debut him as a new and a new episode comes out where he turns into a different animal. Right after the episode it drops, you put out a behind the scenes of how you made that, how the CGI did that, and have showing these CGI artists kind of drawing and making him up in the CGI on the computers and stuff. And I think that would be really cool, just to get an idea of what are the man hours to go into that, just to get an idea as to how long it takes. And if it only takes, if they can only do five different animals in one season, I would be okay with that, as long as they're perfect. So hopefully the CGI can get a little bit better, but otherwise I'd still recommend watching this if you're a DC fan. Or if you're really into this. I think it's definitely going to be a really good choice to watch this. So far I've got to wait and see as to where I'm going. I'm really interested in the show so far, but I'm not as hooked as I was for like Daredevil season 1 or maybe Jessica Jones season 1. But I think those are really different. So we'll have to wait and see where things go with this. I'm definitely intrigued with the whole things are going on. So let's jump into this and get into the show right here. So we're going to jump into the parts here. We have Raven. We starts off. This is where we're going to get into a little bit of spoilers and stuff, just parts of the episode. So I'd recommend you definitely watching it if you haven't already. Raven is dreaming about Dick Grayson's death. I think that's a really cool idea, kind of tying the two together. That's really going to be cool, and she ends up kind of meeting him up later on. We see tons of locks on her door. Her mother's like kind of terrified of her, and she has all kinds of locks there. That was really cool seeing that, and gonna be playing with that. It'll be really kind of cool to get to see if we get to see her father in later on in the season. Could be really cool. I think it could be really interesting to see where things are gonna go with that. We see that Dick Grayson is a detective, and his last partner got from Gotham. His last partner got gassed by the Joker. So I think that's quite interesting, because every time they talk about his last partner, he's obviously talking about Batman, but the other person obviously doesn't know that. And I think that's really cool how they play on with that idea, and to see, did he actually have another partner? Did he, before he came to Detroit, did he quit? Did he stop, pause, take a break as Robin and just start getting a detective stuff, or did he leave Detroit, leave Gotham and come straight to Detroit? Why Detroit? Why not Bloodhaven? Why did they not bring that into the whole thing? I really find that kind of weird. Hopefully this will kind of the episode does kind of end with them kind of driving off, so they could end up in Bloodhaven. But I feel like it's a bit much for him to kind of up and drop everything, without giving anyone notice and nothing like that. If he's going to leave completely, to me it seemed like he was going to drop Raven off maybe with Batman to bring her to the Justice League, because she clearly needs, more help than he can even provide her. So I think that really is going to be cool to see if we get to see like an Alfred kind of cast for this show. We see that Raven's mother is kind of scared of her, obviously with the whole locks on the doors and all that stuff, and her father and her fake mother ends up getting killed in front of her. She finds out that it's not her real mother, and I think that's going to be cool. And I'm kind of glad because that her fake mother, that the hair was either like dye, super like clearly not her hair color, and clearly a wig, and it was kind of annoying me every time we saw her on screen, like that her hair was so bad, such a bad wig, and then such a bad it just looks like a really bad wig on her hair, on her head, and so I'm glad that character's kind of not there too much. We see Robin kind of right in front of, then we see Robin later on. He's looking at Dick Grayson, he's looking at a bunch of criminals, and he's looking at some files and stuff. This guy who beat up his daughter and stuff, and he jumps down in front of all these criminals, lands on the car. They can completely see him, and they start looking around for Batman. I think that moment, that part was really cool. Obviously, we knew that was coming in from the trailers and stuff when he says the F Batman type thing, and I think that was really a great moment. I can't wait to see more of moments like that where people are kind of expecting the other version, they get this version. So I think it's really going to be cool to see different characters like that, and I'd like to see a lot more sidekicks. I know we're going to definitely get Jason Todd, I think is supposed to be in this show and stuff, but I think it'd be later on be cool to see other characters like Wonder Girl and stuff, different characters like that. I think it'd be cool to see Supergirl, but obviously she's over on CW, so we probably won't be getting anything like that. But you never know, I think it'd be cool to see a crossover later on if anything could happen. But I feel like this show, the way they're going with the show and how they want to go so deep and go so expansive in this in the mythos, I don't know if they would ever want to bring in and the CW stuff into this, because they'd want to be able to do their own thing with these characters. I feel like with this show, it already feels like its own universe and not connected to anything, just on the way of this own show. So we see Robin right in front of them, and they're looking for Batman. So that was really cool, like I said. Then he just beats the crap out of them. So that fight scene was pretty cool. It was really fun, just a lot of smoke and stuff, and the smoke looked a little CGI heavy. It didn't look like it was real smoke, and some of the blood looked a little fake when they were shooting it out. So it would have been cool to just see practical effects rather when he was punching them, not just fake blood added online. Because there's some parts that looked to me like looks a little bit like the fake blood looks a little like a fan film on YouTube type thing, which is not good for this show. But otherwise, it was still cool. The fight scene was still pretty fun. And then we're seeing Starfire. Then later on, we've been finding Starfire. She wakes up in a car crash with like bullet holes all over it. She has trouble remembering everything, can't remember who she is. And I'm thinking that, and this is bits and pieces what I'm guessing that it seems like she probably took someone's look, someone's likeness type thing, like in the comic books and in the cartoons. She was able, the way she would learn the language, she would touch someone, so she would have to kiss someone, and she would kiss Robin, both in the comic books and in the cartoons. She would kiss Robin, and that's how she would kind of gain learn the language of learn English and stuff. And so in here she doesn't speak English just yet, or at least she does speak English a little bit, and she also speaks Russian, I think, and I think that was really cool. She looks like she's taken someone's look, so it'd be cool to see did she end up killing that person. I think that could be an interesting way to kind of playing with the character, and if she's taken over the other person's look, that's why she's not pink or green, her skin. She's not like that orange, she doesn't have that orange skin and stuff, and I think that would be something I'd like to see later on, maybe as her powers develop, as she starts learning them, because it doesn't look like she's able to control them, because she would have used them at some of the points, right? But her powers do manifest when she gets, she's in danger or something. I think they just set off on their own. I think that was really cool. The way that happened looked really awesome on screen. So definitely can't wait to see more of that and more of her building up her powers, and to see where things are going to go. Because hopefully by the end of this season we can get her, in the orange, all that stuff, give her the orange skin, and maybe even to the point where her hair is constantly on fire. If I'm not mistaken, in the comic books, at least in the newer comic books, there were some parts where she was constantly on fire, and I think that could be cool. I guess that would kind of break the whole, like, she wouldn't be able to have much of a secret identity, and I guess having orange skin would be easier to hide with kind of clothes and stuff. I'd like to give her that, but I think the idea of, maybe after she, at the end of the season, when she kind of uses her powers like to the extreme, at the end of it, it ends with her, her hair kind of staying on fire or a little bit longer type thing. I think that could be really cool. Just giving that nod to the comics would be really cool. And then we get with Starfire, we get the reference to name drop of Konstantin Kovar, and I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, I know that character. I just couldn't remember who the hell that was, or what that was. He was actually played by Dolph Lundgren in the Arrow show, so I think that's really cool. Obviously, if they bring Dolph Lundgren in, it would be pretty cool, and that obviously would connect everything, especially since he's dead in the Arrowverse. So it's unclear as how that would work. So it's probably not going to be him, and obviously, I guess casting another actor would probably make that the one thing that would instantly confirm that this is not connected at all would break any possibility of connection to Arrow. But I think that's a little thing that, like, even if they wanted to have that connection, that they could just overlook, just like the fact that they recast Sarah Lance in the original Arrow show, in Arrow from the first episodes. So they recasted her for that. So I think it's going to be fine that even if they have a different actor, they didn't get Dolph Lundgren back for this show, since he was technically dead. He died while Oliver was on the island during the flashbacks and stuff. He was a character for that. I think that would be cool. It's going to be cool to see that character, how they do a different spin on him here. I think it's really going to be quite fun. We see that Raven, it's going to be cool to see if he ends up being the big bad. I doubt that he's going to be the big bad. I think it's obviously going to be Raven's father going to be the big bad for this season. I think that'd be quite cool, but I'm not sure how they're going to do that, how they're going to do someone who would be so CGI heavy like her father. So it's going to be cool to see where things kind of go with all this, and to see how things continue on from here. We see that Raven is abducted by one of the police officers at the police station, and she's taken off. That's when Dick Grayson kind of goes after her and follows her. I thought that's just where we're going to see him. He's going to see her powers and stuff, and he does get a bit of a glimpse at her powers after she kind of kills her abductor and stuff. And I think I like the idea of how there's two different versions inside of her. Her powers are on its own personality type thing, and I think I like that. Kind of like, well, if you watch a bit of the Venom, kind of like Venom, in that. I think I like the way things are going with that. I think that's really fun. So all in all, I'm really excited for this show. It has a 8.4 here on IMDb so far, but I'm probably going to give it maybe an 8.5, just because it's really good. But like I said, some of the CGIs on certain characters were a little bit kind of wonky and looked a little fake. And it didn't look wonky, it just looked clearly that's a CGI. They just couldn't get a real animal to do this stuff for Beast Boy, and I get that, but I just think that it would be, like I said, I'd like to see a little bit more a better looking CGI tiger. The tiger in, what was it, the movie, I'm comparing it to a big movie, where they have a full-on tiger throughout the whole movie, but it's completely different, right? When they can just do the movie. Was it Life of Pi, right? He had that great tiger throughout the whole episode, but he was kind of CGI. I think they got bits and pieces of a real tiger. They just never had the actor on set, and never, they split screen it, right? And I think that could be maybe a way they could do it, but it would be cool, like I said, to get some behind the scenes as to Beast Boy, to show us exactly how long it takes to make every animal that you turn him into, especially when he has to be like that animal for a prolonged scene or whatever, when it's very different than Vixen just pressing on her thing, and then you see the aura, the essence, the spirit of the animal shape, and then it disappears right away, and then she goes and fights with that power, right? I think it's going to be cool to see. Like I said, I'd like to see a behind the scenes as to how they make them. Like once it appears on screen, the next day drop the behind the scenes type thing, showing us how they created that and going into detail, just a little bit of detail, just to say it takes this much time, that much time. That way we know, okay, cool. Here's an idea. It is kind of time consuming to spend on this animal that he's going to use for this one fight scene, but I'd like to see, and then they could reuse those files for those animals for different fight scenes, because they already have the files, right? They can use them. They've already created the animal. I think that could be an okay reason, is just to explain to us, literally how long it takes. Does it take a day just to make, one of these things? I really have no idea. I think that'd be something cool to post online. And if you don't want, or if you're not going to do that, then just make sure they look pretty spot on. So I think it's really going to be cool to see where things go for this show. I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be quite fun to see where things go. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.